So, thinking about moving to Leawood, Kansas, but before you do, you want to know everything that's going on in Leawood, Kansas before you actually make that decision? Well, in this video, that's what we're going to be looking into. That way you can decide for yourself if Leawood, Kansas is a great fit, not only for you, but more importantly, for your family. So we're going to talk about the good things, the bad things, the pros, the cons, the yin and the yang. Hey, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to know everything about living in Leawood, Kansas, then subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market conditions in Leawood, Kansas. My name is Chris Pucci with the Living in Kansas City real estate team, and we get calls every day from people just like you. So whether you're moving in 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 months, feel free to reach out, as all of our contact information is in the description box below, and we would be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Leawood, Kansas. Now, with that said, we're going to be looking at 4 pros as well as 4 cons. So that being said, let's start with our first pro, and that would be the neighborhoods of Leawood, Kansas. Now, if you're not familiar with Leawood, it's a small suburb in the Kansas City metropolitan area. It has only 15 square miles of land area. It's rectangular in shape, and it is cut in half by I-435. So you have a northern section as well as a southern section. The city's boundaries are 83rd Street to the north, State Line Road to the east. State Line Road separates Missouri from Kansas, hence the name. 151st Street to the south, where it meets Overland Park in Stillwell, Kansas, and to the west, where it shares a boundary with Overland Park. Furthermore, within the city boundaries, there isn't much in the way of retail or commercial space, and most of that is actually located south of I-435 in the southern section. The city is really comprised of residential neighborhoods that feature single-family houses. So the older housing stock is in the north, so north of I-435, while the newer homes and neighborhoods are south of 435, and this is where you're going to find the majority of the new home construction. What makes Leawood so appealing is its neighborhoods. In the north, you're going to find the older established neighborhoods with large trees lining the streets. This area is often referred to as Old Leawood. The homes in this area were built between the 40s and the 70s, but in recent years, due to the area's location and neighborhood characteristics, there has been a trend of renovating existing homes or undertaking tear-downs to build new custom homes. The homes in this area are primarily ranch-style homes that are well-maintained, situated on large lots. Close by, there are 2 shopping centers located at 95th and Mission Road, one of which has a grocery store, and these 2 shopping centers serve the northern Leawood neighborhoods. Now, we do have the Ward Parkway Shopping Center that's located along State Line on the Missouri side, which is immediately east of Leawood, which gives the northern Leawood residents another option. Southern Leawood is known for its upscale neighborhoods. Development began in earnest during the 80s and has continued into present day. Unlike the homes, though, in Old Leawood, these newer homes don't really have the large trees, and the homes are built on smaller lots, but conversely, they typically offer larger homes with modern layouts as well as amenities. It is in southern Leawood that you're going to find Leawood's most prestigious neighborhoods as well, such as Hallbrook, where homes start at $1 million and go well over $4.5 million. There's Tomahawk Creek Estates, which is a gated community adjacent to Hallbrook, and then we have the Tuscany Reserves. One advantage to living in southern Leawood is southern Leawood offers more shopping center opportunities, including the city's premier shopping centers such as Town Center Plaza and Park Place, as well as most of the city's parks. Now, in summary, Leawood, due to its location, charming established neighborhoods, and newer upscale neighborhoods, Leawood offers many of the most desirable neighborhoods in the Kansas City metropolitan area. So let's talk about another reason that people are drawn to Leawood. And one of the most asked questions is, what are the schools like? Well, schools are the strength of Leawood, and this is just another reason why people gravitate to Leawood. Now, Leawood, Kansas is served by 2 primary public school districts, the Blue Valley School District and the Shawnee Mission School District. Both of these districts are recognized for their academic excellence as well as their comprehensive educational programs. The Blue Valley School District encompasses several schools within Leawood, and it serves the southern portion of Leawood. So you've got Leawood Elementary School serving grades kindergarten through 5th grade with 567 students. It has a 16-to-1 student-teacher ratio, and it's rated A+ by niche.com. You also have Mission Trail Elementary School, which serves grades kindergarten through 5th grade, 402 students with a 13-to-1 student-teacher ratio and an A rating from niche.com. Then we have Leawood Middle School, catering to grades 6 through 8, an enrollment of about 460 students, but it has a 13-to-1 student-teacher ratio and an A+ rating from niche.com. And then finally, Blue Valley North High School, while located in Overland Park, it serves the students from South Leawood. It has an enrollment of 1,412 students, a 16-to-1 student-teacher ratio, and an A+ rating from niche.com. Now, the neighborhoods in northern Leawood feed into the Shawnee Mission School District. It includes the Brookwood Elementary School, serving grades kindergarten through 6 with 406 students, a 15-to-1 student-teacher ratio, and it's rated A by niche.com. You have the Indian Woods Middle School with 156 students, a 15-to-1 student-teacher ratio with an A rating from niche.com. And then we have Shawnee Mission East High School, which has an enrollment of approximately 1,697 students, a student-teacher ratio of 17-to-1, and an A rating from niche.com. So in short, the schools in Leawood are some of the best schools in the state as well as in the region. If there's anything you like about this video so far, do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Another pro is the Leawood economy. Now, Leawood has a diverse local economy that's characterized by high employment rates. The city typically has an unemployment rate that is well below the national average, and future job growth over the next decade is projected to closely align with the national average. The city's major employment sectors include professional, scientific, and technical services, along with healthcare and social assistance, and finally, finance and insurance. Because this city is home to a highly educated workforce, the growth of professional and technical services is expected to continue and to expand and grow. Leawood's retail scene, with its high-end shopping centers like Town Center Plaza and Park Place, they create a robust retail economy, generating a lot of local employment. Because of Leawood's proximity to Kansas City, Leawood's residents have easy access to Kansas City's diverse job market. This proximity attracts professionals who can enjoy suburban living without sacrificing career opportunities. As mentioned, Leawood also benefits from the surrounding suburbs economies as well as Kansas City's economy. Now, Kansas City has a strong, diverse economy, and unlike cities on the east and west coast, Kansas City's economy doesn't experience the big swings, but remains pretty steady, which allows it to navigate the various economic challenges effectively. Kansas City's economy is served by several major sectors, including professional, scientific, and technical services, manufacturing, as well as government. In fact, the government adds stability to the local economy, and per the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, it makes up 12.7% of the Kansas City workforce. Now, the last pro I want to talk about is Leawood's quality of life. There are several factors that make up the quality of life, and they are: 1, education. As previously mentioned, Leawood is part of the highly acclaimed Blue Valley and Shawnee Mission school districts, which are recognized for strong academics, excellent teachers, and advanced college preparatory programs. 2, safety. Leawood is known for its low crime rate. It is consistently below the national average, which contributes to an overall feeling of security. 3, parks and outdoor recreation. Leawood does have numerous parks, including the Leawood City Park and Ironwoods Parks, which provide residents with playgrounds, sporting facilities, picnic areas, as well as an extensive trail network that ties into Johnson County's larger trail system. 4, you have upscale shopping. Although Leawood does not have an abundance of shopping centers, the ones they do have upscale, like Town Center Plaza, Camelot Court, and Park Place. Another benefit or attribute is its proximity to the Kansas City job market and amenities. Leawood's proximity to Kansas City gives residents access to a diverse job market while living in a peaceful suburban environment. And in addition, Leawood benefits from its closeness to Kansas City's cultural attractions, professional sports, and entertainment venues as well. So it's this combination of excellent schools, safety, upscale amenities, and proximity to job opportunities in Kansas City that makes Leawood an ideal location for families. Residents can enjoy a balanced lifestyle with suburban comfort, community engagement, and easy access to metropolitan resources. So far we have focused on the reasons that make Leawood such a special place to live, but there are some things that you might find unappealing. So that being said, let's start with everyone's favorite, the weather. So overall, the weather here is mild, and we get 4 distinct seasons. Spring and fall are the 2 best seasons, particularly for outdoor activities, and the temperatures range anywhere from the upper 50s to the mid 70s. But with spring comes tornadoes. tornadoes. Now, tornadoes typically occur from May through June, with May having the highest frequency. It should be pointed out too that while very rare, tornadoes can also occur in the fall. Summer and winter are typically the least favorite seasons, and depending where you're coming from, you might find the summers or the winters or both a bit of a shock until you get accustomed to them. Now, the summers are hot, and at times they can be pretty humid. The summer months run from June through August, and the temperatures range anywhere from 70 to 85 in June, and by July through August, the temperatures are frequently going to rise into the 90s, and even once in a while, they're going to actually pierce 100 degrees. But again, those days, that's pretty rare. For those of you who are unaccustomed to the heat, it can feel pretty oppressive, and we are subject to humidity, and on days when it's humid, it does get to be very uncomfortable. Now, June is the wettest month of the year, and we do get occasional thunderstorms, which can also bring hail and high winds. Now, as far as winter is concerned, winters run from December through February, but the reality is we really only have 6 weeks of really cold weather, starting in about mid-January and ending at the end of February. Now, if you're not accustomed to the cold, our winters can seem pretty harsh at first until you get somewhat acclimated to the cold. That said, if the sun is out and there isn't any wind, it's going to feel a lot warmer than the actual temperature. The average winter temperatures run from a low of 20 degrees to a high of 45 degrees, with temperatures frequently dropping below freezing. We do get a reprieve every once in a while during the winter where we'll get a day or two where the temperatures actually reach into the 50s, and maybe even once in a while into the low 60s. As a rule, we average about 14 inches of snow annually, with January being the snowiest month, and we do get the occasional ice storm. So snowstorms and particularly ice storms can make driving pretty hazardous, particularly if you're unaccustomed to driving in these kinds of conditions. But fortunately, the street crews do an amazing job of clearing the streets. Now, personally, having grown up here, I love the weather, and I love the fact that we have the 4 seasons. Spring and fall are my favorites. They are for most people. I truly love the summer heat, even on the rare day when the temperature gets over 100. And of course, though, there is nothing more beautiful than walking or running in a snowstorm with snow on the ground. Look, if you want to feel like a kid again, then go find a hill and go sledding. And if you aren't sure where to find a hill, I'll be more than happy to make a recommendation. If you think there's anyone who might find this video helpful, then please feel free to share it with somebody who might be interested. Now, another con are real estate taxes. So real estate taxes are always a concern when buying a home, and unfortunately, Leawood's real estate taxes are the second highest of the 15 Johnson County suburbs, only trailing Lake Quivira. Leawood's real estate taxes on the average are $170 to $320 a month more than the other suburbs, and the factors that contribute to this include the limited amount of commercial tax space. Now, while Leawood has some commercial presence, residential properties still make up a large portion of the tax base, placing more of the responsibility and burden on the homeowners for public funding. High property values is another contributing factor. In Leawood, property values are relatively high compared to many other areas in Kansas. And since property taxes are calculated on a percentage of the property's assessed value, higher home values result in higher tax bills, even if the tax rate is comparable to other regions. Another factor is Leawood's lack of retail. This translates into reduced sales tax revenue, which is used to pay for public services and infrastructure. Talking about infrastructure, cities like Leawood often allocate significant funds to maintain and improve local infrastructure such as roads, public buildings, parks, and recreational facilities. These investments require higher property taxes to cover the cost of development, maintenance, and ongoing improvements. Another negative is the cost of living. Now, Leawood, Kansas is recognized for its high cost of living and high housing prices, and this sets it apart from other areas in the region. For instance, per the Economic Research Institute, Leawood's cost of living index is 106.2, meaning that living expenses are 6.2 higher than the national average and 27.8% higher than that of Kansas. For a family living in Leawood, it is estimated that the monthly expenses are approximately $10,320, which is 9% higher than the national average. Oddly enough, for a single person, the monthly cost is around $4,433, making it 7% less expensive than the national average. Adding to the cost of living is housing prices. Now, Leawood's housing costs are significantly higher than both the national average as well as the state of Kansas. Take the median home price, for instance. Per Realtor.com, the median listing home price in Leawood is $693,000, as opposed to the average for Johnson County, which is $450,000, and for the United States, $420,000. The same holds true for the average home price. The average home value in Leawood is $706,544 versus $537,062 for Johnson County and $537,900 for the U.S. Per Area Vibes, the overall cost of living in Leawood is 35% higher than the national average. Now, just a couple of factors that contribute to this is the high quality of public services, as well as the city's commitment to maintaining excellent schools, well-maintained parks, and low crime rates, all of which plays a role in the elevated cost of living. So we've come to our last con, which is the lack of public transportation. So let's take a moment and talk about public transportation, or the lack thereof. Now, bear in mind, Leawood is an affluent suburban city, and like many suburbs in the U.S., it relies heavily on cars for transportation. Public transportation options in Leawood are quite limited, and therefore most residents need to drive for their daily tasks, whether it's commuting to work, running errands, or taking kids to school. And because shopping centers are limited, few of the neighborhoods are within walking distance. Therefore, most residents who don't drive are going to find this very inconvenient. Bus service is very limited. Now, while Ride KC operates some bus routes in Johnson County, there are only a few stops that are near Leawood. Another public service, the Ride KC Micro Transit, an on-demand app-based service, only operates in Johnson County areas that are adjacent to Leawood. It's only Ride KC Freedom, designed for disabilities and seniors, offering door-to-door service, is available in Leawood. In short, because the bus system isn't a practical or convenient means of transportation, residents will need to rely on alternate services such as Uber or Lyft, or traditional taxi services. Now, while the lack of public transportation may not be an issue for families, it can be a barrier for retired residents. So now that we've discussed the pros and the cons, and you've seen the good and the not so good, I hope this helps. Niche.com has rated Leawood the #1 with best public schools, best suburb to buy a home in, best place to raise a family, and best suburb to live in Kansas. It also ranks Leawood as the 88th best place to live in America. I really hope you found this video helpful, but more importantly, I hope you got a glimpse into why Leawood is such a special place to live, and why it is one of the most desirable suburbs in the Kansas City metropolitan area. Hey, please feel free to leave a comment below, but please be nice. And if you have any questions, or you'll want to learn more, or just want to talk, shoot us a text, send us an email, or better yet, schedule a Zoom call. All of our information is below. Oh, and one more thing. You may or may not know, but Kansas City is the barbecue capital of the world, and Leawood is home to 3 terrific barbecue restaurants. So if you aren't sure which one to start with, I would recommend starting with Joe's Barbecue of KC. Hey, thank you so much for your time, and until then, we hope to show you around town.